And I know I've been missing for about, what, 5 weeks now? And I said everything was okay, and everything is fine. But I want to tell you a little bit about why I ended up with the long break and what has happened since you saw me in Nigeria. Um, if you were following me through Togo and Benin and Nigeria, you knew I was having a little bit of trouble at every border. They were being a big hassle. Excuse me. And Nigeria is interesting. In a way, it's kind of great because everyone was, most everyone was really nice. And it's a cool place. I wish I had gotten the 90 days that they were supposed to give me, but because I went to the embassy directly in Cotonou, they only gave me 30 days. So I did not have as much time to explore as I wanted. But it also kicked my butt. And that is because everything that had to do the least bit with anything administrative took forever. Um, I found out I needed to update my yellow fever shot. It took me 2 days to find one place that could do it, and they didn't have the yellow cards that you need when you travel. And as I said, I went to like 5 places. You know, it was like, oh, go here. Oh, no, go here. Oh, no, go here. You know, and I got chased around for 2 days. I went to go to the Cameroon embassy, which was my original plan, which did change. And the person there, it's like, well, we have the e-visa. And I started to try and do the e-visa, and the form didn't work for me. And because I was supposed to be going overland. That didn't happen, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Um, and you know, that person honestly kind of made it difficult. It wasn't the consul, it was the person in the front office. But she was the one person that really didn't seem to, she seemed annoyed that I was going to need help. Um, and I'll tell you where I am in just a moment, because I know I'm sitting in a minivan and waiting for it to fill up to go somewhere. And I'll tell you about that in a moment, too. So everything, oh, and the other thing that was difficult in Nigeria is everyone's using electronic payment, but no one's electronic payment would take my foreign cards, not even my hotel. So every time I had to pay the hotel, I had to go to the bank, but they would only let you withdraw this much money. When I first got there, I had to make 4 withdrawals just to pay the hotel. Okay. And then, they actually upped it like a week after I arrived, but then they put a daily limit on it. So it was still a problem. I tried wiring myself money, and that took with the way the bank handled it, and they had to verify my passport and this, that, and the other thing. And I was sending myself money. And then they still had a limit on how much I could withdraw because I wasn't a member of their bank. And that took a half a day of my life just to do that, when I could have stood out at the ATM and done it 10 times. And there's a mosquito here. I'm going to try and kill it without destroying my camera. But you know, I could have stood out at the ATM and tried to do that. Of course, you do that many transactions, even if they're tiny. Like, we're talking, some of the withdrawals were as little as like $6. But you do 10 transactions and the bank starts to get suspicious, you get fraud. So these were the troubles I was having in Nigeria. The people were nice, as I say, and I had a lot of nice people that were very helpful to me, very kind, happy that I was there. And then they would be nice, and then they would warn me. It was a weird dichotomy, as everyone I was encountering was nice, but then I got warnings. And that was kind of the whole trip. I did meet up with a friend in Benin City. Now, I will tell you this, I had been to the country Benin Republic, okay? When I say Benin, I mean the country. And when I say Benin City, I'm talking about the city in Nigeria. And I'm telling you that because if you're in Nigeria and they say Benin, they mean Benin City. And if they want to talk about Benin Republic, which they don't do very much, but they'll actually say Benin Republic. So I kind of do it opposite. But I met up with a friend in Benin City, but on one of the shared rides, I picked up a cough. And that was plaguing me my last 2 weeks, last week and a half in Nigeria. And even when I did decide to fly, the reason I didn't go to Cameroon and continue my land trip is that word was getting dicier about the safety situation. I'm not saying it's like rampant or anything, but from when I originally did my research, there was more talk online from people in Cameroon that things were getting a little dicier, and there were extra warnings about the space between around the Nigerian Cameroon border. Um, so I you know, between the safety issues and a little bit of business thinking for the channel. Because I'm going to explain this to you because I trust you to understand. But I love all of you that watch me. I really do. I appreciate everyone who watches my videos. But right now, my audience isn't big enough that people will watch just wherever I go. And I can put out a video about, if I put out a video about someplace that's not well traveled or people aren't super interested in, I just don't get a lot of views. And Cameroon might have gotten some views, but then Gabon, and I heard Equatorial Guinea was a really no-go because of this weird government they have there right now. But Gabon and Republic of Congo aren't super well traveled. And so I was looking at a lot of land travel that had more dangers than when I originally researched, and probably for low views. So with the danger added, and mostly it was the danger, but a little bit of business thinking, I decided, you know what, no matter what, I've always wanted to go to Namibia. So let's just jump straight to Namibia. And so I got on a plane. I still had the cough when I got on the plane, but I had a cough suppressant that got me through the flight. And I came down to Namibia. I flew down here. And another little business thing is my income streams, the freelance writing and that, has been really shaky lately. And so I haven't been getting a steady stream. So I have been, the last month, I have been working on setting up a steadier income stream. It's a small side business, you know, a side hustle type thing, but not a cheesy one or anything like that. But it is a design work thing that I'm trying to get to be a steady income. It'll take me a little while to get it there, but the freelance thing is being too iffy. My first week here in Namibia, I worked on getting rid of the cough. I worked on trying to get some travel magazines and that to hire me to write something for them. I sent out a whole bunch of queries and all that. The second week, I looked at job boards and that, and I'm not qualified. I don't work corporate jobs, so it's hard for me to find a job that I can do, especially around traveling. But I don't have those corporate type job skills. So right now I'm going to tell you that's what I did. And then by the third week, I was like, I can either spend my time trying to get jobs that I'm not qualified for and that may never respond to me, will probably never respond to me, or I can work on doing this side business thing that whatever I build will always be with me because it'll be mine. And that's what I've been working on. I have literally spent a month in Windhoek, which is the capital of Namibia. It's the big city. And I've mostly just been working. And, I know I've put off making this video, this explanation video, because I was going to do it and edit it. And I've been so busy working on the business thing, I haven't had the energy to also focus on videos because it's all design work and there's only so much brain to go around and time. So that's where things stand. I'm trying to get a steady income stream. I do plan to get back to making the videos for Benin and Nigeria. I will be doing that soon, but I had to get a start on the business thing. I couldn't split my attention. I needed to do full focus on that. So I am now in Namibia. I have been in Windhoek for 5 weeks. 2 days ago, I went to Sossusvlei. And if you don't know about Sossusvlei, if you've seen pictures of Namibia and you've seen the dead trees and the orange desert on that little plateau, that's called Deadvlei, and that is in Sossusvlei. And I've always wanted to do that. Ever since I saw pictures, I have always wanted to come to Namibia and do that. I did not know the hike was as challenging as it was. It's about 1 kilometer, but it's in sand. It's in deep desert sand. Not all of it's deep, but oh man, my legs, 2 days later, my legs still hurt. And so I'm starting to do the touristy things. And I'm in this minivan right now that'll probably take off in about an hour if it fills up, going to Swakopmund. And that's where you go to do some tours where there's like where the dunes, if you've ever seen the pictures of Namibia, because Namibia has a lot of pictures out there. It's a gorgeous place. And the dune goes right up to the sea. And there's other things to do in Swakopmund, but it's on the sea. And then I'm going to try to go to Etosha. I'm going to try and do it on a little bit of a budget. Evidently, that's really hard to do. I might have to splurge for like one night in the park. We're going to see how that goes. And so I'm traveling around Namibia now. And see, I got in right before their president, I don't know if you heard, but their president changed the visa rules. And they made it so that now you have to pay. But I got in before that, so I got 90 days free entry. And the car is starting to fill up, so I'm going to get out of everyone's way. I'm going to let people start loading. I've secured my spot, so no worries. So we're going to see how Namibia goes. But I've always wanted to come here. I've really always wanted to come here. And as to exactly where I'm going next, I'm thinking South Africa is next because it's right next door. And everything I've heard about it says it's probably smart to do South Africa next. And they give 90 days free visa or no visa is what it's called. So same with Botswana, which is also right next door. But yeah, one of the things down here is everything's safari and or private car and those sorts of things. So, there's no inexpensive way to do things. Going around West Africa, there's a ton of stuff you can do that's inexpensive. But here it's hard. Even my trip to Sossusvlei, I actually did a one-day trip. We left they said to be ready by 2:30 in the morning. They picked me up at 3:30 because they had to pick up everyone. And I did not get back till 9:30 that night because it was the most affordable way to do it. If you go to Sossusvlei and stay the night, the hotel's like $130 plus the drive back. It's a 5-hour drive. Whereas my whole tour for doing that all in one day like I did was about $130. And that's the cheapest I was going to get it. That was just the cheapest way to go. So Namibia, the everyday living, the groceries and that kind of thing are reasonably priced, but actually on the inexpensive side. And but the tours and all that, there's no way around it. Everything is 5 hours away. I'm doing a minivan to Swakopmund, but if I was doing a private driver, or if you hire a car, it's about $100 a day. And like if you stay inside a park, the hotels are all over $100 a night. So I'm a little concerned about going to Botswana quite yet because I don't want my money to just there's various reasons why I've got to get things moving now. I got to get income streams moving now. So I'm not going to massively ask you for money, but if you happen to have a few extra dollars laying around, which I'm sure no one does because of the situation right now, but if you do and you're feeling generous and excited, I do have a buy me a coffee. It should be in the description, but I understand things are tough right now. So do what you need to do. Take care of yourself. But I wanted to give you an update, and I figured I was sitting here and I was going to do it all nicely edited, but I am sitting here. I've done this thing where you wait for the car to fill up. I've done it in every country I've been in, practically. And I remember I did it in Benin, and the one I was taking up to Abomi took a long time to fill, even though it was just a car. It wasn't even a minivan. And I did it in Lagos, and oh God, the chaos at the station in Lagos. There were people selling stuff, but there had to be 50, 60 of these vans going all different places, and they were just crowded and, sell, and people everywhere. Of course, Lagos is a people everywhere kind of city. I mean, man, Lagos is crowded. There are so many people there. And here, it's like one van left already. They were full. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 vans or something like that. One guy kind of came around, sort of had some bags of candy and snacks, which I already have. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And he just kept going, you know, and it's like all mellow here. But the thing is, let me tell you a little bit about Namibia. Just, you're not me though. Okay. He's giving hand signals over here. And, but no, Namibia, I will tell you that the Germans are here. I guess they were the colonizers here, and you can feel it. There's another side of town that I've only been to one time so far that's supposed to be a little bit more local. But Windhoek is it doesn't feel like West Africa at all. It is so different. And I think all of Namibia is so different. Windhoek looks like any major city you'll see in any part of the world. It's very shiny. You know, I end up going to the malls for lunch because that's the place to get a reasonably priced meal, you know. There's a bunch of malls here that's all very shiny. As I say, you can sort of feel the German presence. Well, you can see the German in the street names and that sort of thing. And there's like a place called Schnitzel King, you know, for dinner, you know, or for a restaurant. So there's a lot of German presence here. But there's only 3 to 4 million people in this whole country. And this is a big country. The country's similar in size to Nigeria, and they only have 3 or 4 million people. To give you an idea, Los Angeles, greater Los Angeles, I compared it, is 10 million people. Okay, and so they have space. Everyone has space. There's, you know, nothing's crowded, and the city is beautiful. They have left the trees in, or they've put them back in. I don't know which, but there are trees throughout the city, and it sits amongst these kind of, I don't know if they're not really quite mountains. I think they're hills, but it's in amongst these hills, and I have never seen, honestly. This might be the most beautiful city I've visited so far. Like where the landscape, and as I say, even just the fact that the trees are embedded. Like, let me show you behind me. Wait, I can flip the camera, can't I? Where's my flippy? There's my flippy. I'll just show you the trees. See, I mean, this is just around a gas station, you know? And it's winter here. I will tell you that. It is winter here. I have had to pull out all my cold gear. I had to buy a jacket. I had to buy some shoes because my other shoes didn't fit anymore. Because I walked around barefoot for too long. And I have a funny story about my shoes. I'll do it when I do my video on sous souffle. I have a very funny story about my shoes. But I mean, everything looks like this. You know, there's these trees embedded all the way around. And you can see there's just a bunch of space here. You know? But that's what I mean. Sorry, I'm gonna just. Oh, come on! I hope there's not sand in there. Okay. But it is cold because it is winter time here because it's southern hemisphere, and but it's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful city. You know, when you're driving around it, it's just like, man, this place is gorgeous. You got this hills, and also they had a really wet, rainy season this year, which they don't. Rainier than they've had in like 10 years, you know, so everything's really green and they're not used to that. Out in the desert there was greenery, which is usually not. It's usually all, you know, brown and orange, and there's a lot of green coming up through. And so this is Namibia. It's very clean. And as I said, I'm heading to Swakopmund. One guy called it Little Germany, so we'll see when I get there what that's like. I'm going to start doing these lives again as I'm traveling, and then when I pause traveling again and probably come back to Windhoek to continue back on the business. You know, I'm going to be trying to get the videos done for Benin and Nigeria, so don't worry about that. I'm going to be working on those, but I'll start doing lives just to be a little more spontaneous about it. And so yeah, that's a look at Namibia. Sorry I've been gone so long. Thank you for those of you who have contacted me and been like, "Are you okay?" I was exhausted after Nigeria, and that was another bit of my reasoning. Because see, I had planned to take a pause in either Nigeria or Cameroon. I was hoping for the 90 days so I could take a pause. I have found that 6 to 8 weeks is about as long as I can go where I'm go, and then I need a break. And that was the plan, and then Nigeria didn't give me 90 days on the visa. And I just got exhausted. As I say, I was sick for the first week I was here, that I was trying to get rid of that cough. And I did all the right doctor stuff, don't worry, it's gone, it's nothing serious, but it was annoying and it was tiring. But I will say Nigeria, on top of the other two countries being challenging, it exhausted me, and that was another bit of the reason why I jumped ahead, because I needed a break. And as I said, I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. I feel bad. I hope no one's too disappointed in me for not doing those central countries, but it just wasn't making enough sense. So I had to do what was right for me, and that has landed me down here in Namibia. And even though it's been cold, I've gotten used to it mostly, and I'm happy to be here. And yeah, this is a really cool, mellow place, and you know, so I thank everyone who has stuck with me, and I really thank you for being here. I thank you for if you share my videos, if you just watch them, anything is good, anything helps. I would really like to see. I was also sort of, as far as income streams, I was sort of thinking the channel would have taken off a little more by now, at least a little bit. But it's not monetized yet, so that's another reason why I stopped for business reasons. So thank you for listening. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for watching. And there will be more adventures. I'll just start, if I'm not having a ton of time to edit, I'll just start doing lives when I'm somewhere interesting. I tried to do it from Susuvle, by the way. There was no reception in Deadvlay. I was going to do a live from Deadvlay, and there was no signal. So yeah. But I will do lives whenever I can, whenever I have a signal. At the very least, if the editing's taking me a long time, I will just do lives. Just bam. I'll just hop on and give you a peek at what I'm doing. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time. I'll be back around very soon. Have a good day, everybody.